the patrol sacks, the Northern Ireland patrol sacks. So the clone is pretty good. It's pretty good and cheap. Well, around 45-50 quid. Remember, the Camelback Motherlode at the time was over 200 quid. I think you can pick up a second-hand one now for about 130. A lot of people still love the original NI pack here. NI, Northern Ireland, which denotes its year, and it's IWR as well, which is infrared reflective. And I shouldn't imagine the clone is anything like that. A lot of people have a preference, and it's usually for the colour rather than its functionality. They have a preference for DPM, not MTP. Now, what a preference has to do with its functionality in its environment, I've no idea. You would use each pack in its environment. An environment like this, it's lush, it's green. Obviously, here in the UK, you would choose the DPM. The MTP would stand out a mile in a wrong environment. In a desert, that would stand out a mile. This stands out a little, but not as much as you may think. When on the introduction, both these packs were clearly visible for you to see as I walked up this track. So having a preference for one colour or one pattern is totally irrelevant to its actual usage in its environment. What we have here is functionality. You need to adapt to your environment. As you can see, you could almost miss the MTP against stonework. So like I said, they never really issued an NI pack. Obviously, if you're going over to Basra or any of them places, so you'd have had to have bought your own MTP patrol sack. Obviously no Northern Ireland out in the desert. But how good is this in comparison? So I've been looking at its pattern. This is the built-in side pocket of the NI IWR, and it is stitched on. It's double stitched, 2 rows all the way down, and with its template it is sewn from the front here, and that allows this to curve around. Double row stitching all the way down the daisy. MTP version doesn't have a daisy, instead it has a row of molly. Now the molly on that is handy, really handy. The other thing the original doesn't have is your Velcro there for either your morale patch, your blood type, anything. Wouldn't have had one originally up here, and you notice I've sewn on double ammo onto the front of mine where I just put a water filter. The polymer of the actual plastic is as strong as the original Bergen, so if you stand on these, even when they're cold, it's going to be pretty hard to snap one. I've seen a few snap. If you stand on them when they're open like that, you're going to crack one, and it happens, and it just needs repairing. Let's see the quality over here at the buttle. It looks face value almost identical, and I did really have to examine these quite a lot, but this is molded. It's a molded plastic, so it's not quite up to the same quality, and if I stood on that it would split on the edges. Let's come to the actual back itself and see the two big differences. It has been sewn in chevrons there. That is by design. It has been well thought out, the chevron there. It is pretty comfy if you don't overload it. If you want to add a belt, a hip pad is optional to you there. The actual shoulder pads themselves are narrower than the clone, equally as thick, but the actual material on the inside, the foam, is a lot more dense, On the back support here, again, you can add a belt through here. The shoulder pads here are wider, a lot wider, but look how soft it is. I can just bend that very, very easily in half. It's equally as thin, but it's not as dense. Over to here, you can see I can hardly bend that in half at all. It goes to about there. I can quite easily fold in half. Comfort wise, don't overload them. By the way, the clone pack here is by Kombat UK, so obviously it's never been issued. It says NI issue there. Believe me, it is not issue. If you go on the website, it says issue style. For the DPM, you'll find it under the main lid. Now the MTP clone says it's 38. It's identical in literage to this. You're not going to get an extra 8 litres out of the MTP. IRR infrared reflective. This is 2006. I think they're about anywhere between 25 and 55 quid. The cheaper you go, the worse the quality. This is excellent quality. But on after reflection, neither of them have any repair required. Let's have a look at the actual quality of the material. This is a very, very thick 1000 Kajura, about 600 denier, so a good Kajura, and I mean it, that is thick right there. That's just on the lid. Typical grow grain there with, I should imagine, 3 to 4 mil stitch. It's quite a big stitch, and the actual stitch holding this top lid on is about 2 mil. So you can actually pick this up by the lid. what used to take up 2 rocket pocket liners with softies in that and clothing in that is all in here. A good space saver if you think you're going to switch to the MTP. Newer style softie. It's a PCS. I don't think the same company make it. Here's the top. PCS trousers, really lightweight, great in the summer. These absolutely fantastic summer UK. Get a pair of them on. And the newer style Norgie, a lot lighter. Marry it up with the softie and you're good to zero. If you're walking, once you stop, you're going to want a little something extra. Air Max or Airtex t-shirt, that nice. You can see that is going to breathe just brilliantly, which is why I like MTP for a British summer and DPM for a British winter. I really like these newer style softies just because of just how compact they are. Let's put that into a comparison. The softies and the change of clothes. Everything in the tan coloured bag is the same as the 2 on the left. If I modulate my kit like that and adapt it to the environment you're actually using it in, rather than having a preference, again, it works better. So you're going to fit less kit in if you keep it all to DPM. I do love the older softies. I'm not against them, but I'm also practical. If I see the same thing is lighter and it's going to do the same job, then the preference aspects of it doesn't come into play. It's lighter, it's more compact, it keeps me just as warm as these olive drab softies. I think I'd be a mug just to have a preference and make it heavy, unnecessarily heavy. It's nothing, it's a hell of a lot lighter, but I wouldn't want to use this for a UK winter. Adapt your kit to your environment rather than have a preference. There's nothing wrong with mixing and matching. It's your kit. If you do have a preference, you could take your favourite softies out of that and into that. Vice versa, I could take the waterproofs out of that, put them in that, mix match. Some people don't mind mixing the camo up. You know, it's only for hiking and camping, fishing, who cares? If you're on a wild camp, you might be better matching it all up. Side pouch of the DPM. I have a matching DPM basher, pretty standard, well worth it. I have actually made this lighter and more compact. I'll show you that, how I do that on a different episode, on the quick tips. This side will have a smog, so that's out of character to the year of the pack, but let's carry on. I usually put catering in one side of the pack, so I don't have to dig into the main chamber to cook and get a quick brew on or a bit of lunch. A little hexy stove, love these to bits. It's in keeping with the character of the year. as well. That is full of hexy, all bits and pieces, all broken up. And I bought the 58 ring holder for it because I have the 58 cup rather than the mess tin. A brew always tastes better out of a 58 beaker. Opportunity if you want to carry that in a litre of water bottle. I don't actually carry water in the pack. We're going to talk about that after. I'm just demonstrating the 2-piece unit there. Something to cook with. I should have the Mark 1 here. This is the Mark 1. God, that needs clean, really does. Yeah, so there's one whole cook unit. I wouldn't actually have the water bottle in. I carry water externally anyway, either in webbing or a different means. So it's the same kind of deal. It's going to have a basher in one side and a cook set in the other. Hopefully in the same place. The left for me should be the basher. 10 bungees. I don't like using bungees, but if you watch the last NI pack, you can see why I use the bungees. It's because I put a sleep system with this and it's fit then for the night. What else do I have? A set of tent pegs, tent stakes. They're from the IPK. Pretty light, strong, and in here, all folded, nice, neat, is a matching basher. So there is the basher. Now the basher here in MTP is longer than the DPM. The right pocket obviously sewn in. There's the equivalent of the beaker. This is the Wilco pop out folder mug, and its equivalent, the jet boil, which is the pot, the fuel and the stove. And while that's out, I'm going to have a quick brew and then we can carry on. But I haven't bought part of the coffee press, so it's going to be a cowboy coffee. This, the actual beaker, the cook pot, I prefer this over the 58 because it's lighter. I'm just going to have a quick slurp. I'm not going to make a full brew. It's only a demonstration. I'd rather have bought a plastic one rather than my Regatta stainless steel water bottle. So it's only because it's what I could find at a moment's notice. I can hear gas. Right. When this turns orange here, I will have water hot enough for a cowboy coffee. I won't be able to turn the regulator down that much. I have another stove with a better regulator which would simmer a lot better for cowboy coffee. But because I haven't bought the extra little bit from my coffee press, the handle for it, it's in another pack. I can't have a Java press coffee. It's going to have to be cowboy style. I'll turn it off for a second. Put some coffee into my pot. Oh, it'll have to be a black coffee today. Oh, I can't feel my fingers. Come on. Oh. It's deceiving, isn't it? Nice bright sunshine and cold enough. that in, I think. Return it to a boil for a few minutes. It's not as easy to regulate for cowboy coffee unless you have a decent regulator. Now I do have the Jetboil Minimo. It just doesn't fit the side of the pack. Right, let's keep that at a boil for a couple of minutes. I don't want to put a lid on, it'll boil over. So I just want to keep the lid pretty loose. If I could keep it like that without boiling over, I would be happy. Okay, a lot of people are going to say at this point that the one on the left, the DPM, is stronger. This has got a PU liner, and I'm pretty sure over to this side, yeah, that's got a PU liner in as well. So it's not been dipped. It is a different fabric sewn on at the same time. If you're looking for something quite tough and rugged, obviously the original NI pack. Actually, I probably would have got a better cowboy coffee using the hexamine, which is all well and good using high insight, isn't it? Too late, it's done. Some black coffee there. Hopefully not too many grounds in it, and all the grounds should be left in there. Right, let's cool that down. So a lot of people really wanted to see the original there, and a few wanted to see the comparison. Remember, they never did issue an NI for the desert. How could you possibly have a Northern Ireland pack in the desert? You can get yourself the mother load, which I haven't got at the moment. I got the Bulldog 50 litre instead. But before you start commenting, sugar's bad for you, don't have sugar in your coffee. For the sugar police in the comments, don't worry, it's not sugar, it's just cocaine. I really wished I had the other section for my Java press. Oh, it's strong. That is really strong. That is proper wake up juice. Oh, so really I can't draw to a conclusion here. The original Northern Ireland IRR is bomb solid, and yeah, it's not a stitch out of place. It is like it is new, and a lot of them for sale on the internet will be like that. You'll get one in good order. It's hard to batter one up. I've only seen one battered Bergen really, and I bought that and stripped it down for components, extra fabric to make patches, took the buttons off it and put it on a frame and things like that, so that a good Cajora will endure a long time. The little clone, remember it's only Kombat UK. I'm not a lover of the company, but it is absolutely solid. Although this does look uncannily similar to an original MTP, so I don't know how they've gotten away with that. They can get away with a multicam, a copy of the actual pattern, and I've seen two different patterns. Multicam, it's pretty good. It's pretty good these days. I don't have a preference from one to the other. If it's summer, I'll take MTP. If it's winter, I'll take DPM. For the reasons we discussed earlier, the kit inside is warmer, especially for a UK environment. Summer, autumn, when the leaves are falling here in the UK, that MTP blends in the tree. So there you have it there, the DPM NI infrared reflective. That coffee is going to keep me awake for a fortnight. Size wise, all the pockets are pretty much similar sized. I can get MTP kit into DPM, I can get DPM into MTP. And during the intro, when I walked up this very track, both of these packs were clearly visible, just laid on the side of the track. I put one in a kind of a rocky terrain and I put the other in foliage, and like I said, I wonder if you spotted them where they were. Until next time, take care of yourself and I'll see you out there. Happy trails.